Hey everyone, how's it going? This is the Ball Metal Nerd coming at you with another wonderful video. In this one, I think I'm going to ask the question, how important is it for you to, quote, look metal? I think a lot of this is going to depend on age, right? What do I mean by look metal? Well, I mean, pretty simply, what you would think, as in wearing, part of it is, of course, wearing shirts with, band artwork or logos on them. Um, Basically, dressing in, for lack of a better term, metal fashion. Maybe having a battle vest, leather jacket, boots, jeans, the metal uniform, right? How important is that look to you? For me, the answer has changed a lot. I mean, a lot over the years. Um, when I was a very newly minted metal fan, when I was 11 years old in '89, I didn't have. When I started out, I had no band T-shirts, nothing of the sort. Right? I just dressed like a child, for lack of a better term, completely. And it was clothes that my parents picked out. Um, you know, uh, I think the first time I got a band T-shirt, really, uh, I know I was a teenager. Maybe I was 13 or 14. And my parents finally just said, here's some money. Buy the clothes that you want to buy, right? And when they did that, I essentially, of course, then chose to start to buy band T-shirts. I know the first band T-shirts I bought had Metallica on them for sure, and a few other bands, probably a Megadeth shirt and a couple of others, right? Because that is how I wanted to present myself, right, as a teenager. Because I was done. At first I thought to myself, I was in a little bit of a dichotomy at that time because another thing I chose to have was a starter jacket. Talk about a contradiction to the quote metal look. But starter jackets were all the rage back then. I know they're nothing now, but back in the early 90s, yeah, early to mid 90s, kids wore them. It was a giant deal. So I would wear, I really wanted a starter jacket. I got one. And I'd wear that, but I'd have a Metallica shirt on underneath it. So I was going through a little bit of an identity crisis, right? Part of me, quote, wanted to conform, right, to my peer group. And that's the kind of shit they were into. And I was wanting to have a lot of the name brands that they were and let myself be defined by that rather blatant consumerist culture, right? But I'll never forget, uh, it was around that time. I don't know. Again, I was 13 or 14, and my mother actually said something really intelligent to me. Uh, this is back when she still at least had a functioning brain, because she doesn't seem to have one of those nowadays. But anyway, she actually said to me, "Why do you care about the name that's stitched on the butt of your pants?" And when she said that, it was like this, just this revelation swept over me. And she was right. I did not care one bit about brand for anything ever. It was just this, like, yeah, it just shattered my brain. And I was like, yeah, I don't care what brand is stitched on the butt of my pants, right? It doesn't matter what it says. Like, I don't care what name brand it says. It doesn't matter. And it totally, it did that for me really for everything. I've never, ever since then, I've never really cared about the name brand of anything. Now, of course, when I make any purchasing decisions, I'll do it solely based on brand. I look at whatever product category that the product is, and I do my research and yada, yada, yada. And yes, some brands have better reputation in certain areas than others, but I never buy, you know, any piece of anything because of, quote, a status or how I'll be perceived buying that brand. I don't care at all. She completely broke me of that behavior, which I thought, amazing. So, I got more band T-shirts because that's what I wanted to wear. So by the time I was 16, I had a pretty large collection of band T-shirts. And the other kids would, of course, ridicule me for wearing these shirts because, satanic metal and I was a devil worshiper and all this other crap. Really, the kids just picked on me in school, and that, of course, just made it a bit worse, unsurprisingly. Because anytime you do anything different from your peers when you're that age, it's hard. It's really hard. So I got a lot of shit from a lot of people for it. And when I was around that age, that's also when I got my, I got this. I got rid of my starter jacket and I got a leather, a black leather motorcycle jacket. I still have it. Honestly, I've gotten fatter since then, so I mean, I can still put it on. It just doesn't look so good on me anymore. I got one of those leather motorcycle jackets with all the zippers and, you know the type, right? And I decided to wear that as my coat instead. I just got more. I got a chain wallet, I grew my hair long. Yeah, I had hair once upon. I did the whole 9 yards. I totally made it a point to look as, quote, metal as I could all the time. That was extremely important to me because I saw it as me against the world, and damn it, I'm gonna, of course I was conforming to the tribe I wanted to be a part of, but at least I could pick what I wanted to be a part of, right? And I really committed to that until I guess we'll say my early 20s, right? And what, of course, really slowed that down for me after that was having to work, in professional jobs, right? Obviously, I can't wear a Slayer T-shirt to work nowadays. That doesn't work out. So, so I had to, of course, start to buy clothes that were more, workplace friendly, as in boring ass khakis and stupid polo shirts. And so as I started to have to wear that stuff to work, and just realizing that's just part of being a functioning adult, I didn't care as much about, looking metal after that. I still wanted to look very metal during my off hours, but, when I was working, it definitely, cut into that. You spend so much time working, obviously, you know where this is going. So, which kind of brought me to my current state, right? Nowadays, obviously, I still rock the metal shirts and all that when I can during my off time, but these aren't all I have. I do have shirts that aren't related to metal bands at all that I'll wear. And in fact, nowadays, I don't care a whole lot about looking metal. I just wear clothes that are comfortable, period. For me, comfort and durability are far more important than making any sort of a, quote, fashion statement or an identity state with my clothes. I'm going to be 42 this year. I don't care about that stuff at all anymore. That has completely exited me remotely giving a shit. But again, the good thing is, like I said, I don't feel that I'm too old to wear an Iron Maiden t-shirt or Slayer or Metallica or whatever. I don't feel uncomfortable dressing that way. So I think at this point I found the right balance, right? I don't feel that it really dominates my choices for what I wear nowadays, but I'm not afraid to, quote, put on the metal uniform either. I'm comfortable pretty much with anything. So, of course, I want to hear from you in the comments below. If you went through something similar in your youth, how you feel about it now that, you're an adult, yada, yada, yada. Or if you're a very young person, I'd be especially interested to hear from you what you think about all this. So anyway, that's it. As always, live long and prosper. Keep on rocking.